The following program is sponsored by CBN.
Coming up, 18, unmarried,
I was scared out of my mind.
and pregnant.
Do what is easiest for everyone.
And she thought there was only one way out.
As I'm walking in, my heart's racing.
Her decision
And the doctor came in, washed his hands, and he didn't speak to me.
and last-second change of heart
I heard this voice say, "It's not too late, get up."
on today's 700 Club. Well, welcome to the 700 Club. Deadly tornadoes and storms hit the Midwest and Plains states this week, killing 7 people and injuring dozens of others. And it's not over yet.
The storm is pushing east, and now the big concern is flooding. At the same time, the southeast is getting ready for a record-breaking heat wave. Heather Sells brings us the story.
A week of tornadoes in the Midwest has left death and destruction in its path. In the capital of Missouri, lives were spared, but the twister decimated a 3-mile path. Even the capital took a hit. The concern in Jefferson City in the tornado's aftermath is flooding. The city sits on a bluff overlooking the Missouri River, and that river is projected to top a levee today and potentially flood the airport.
So not only are we dealing with the storm, we're also still paying attention to what happened with the water rising.
The Missouri tornado was just one of dozens to strike the Plains states in the last few days. This funnel cloud crossed over the Texas Panhandle near the Oklahoma state line on Thursday. A reporter was able to come up very close.
We're almost on it. It's a large tornado, and I can see violent motion. I mean, good night, this thing is spinning hard.
Oklahoma is still getting hammered by both tornadoes and flooding, the worst in 30 years. The big concern, the Arkansas River. Authorities have opened the floodgates at Lake Keystone, where rising waters threaten the dam. But that's dumping millions of gallons of water into the Arkansas River, which runs right through Tulsa.
We called up some of the National Guard.
To make matters worse, these 2 barges broke loose and floated down the swollen Arkansas on Thursday. As you can see here, they actually slammed into a dam and then sank. The dam held, but the sunken boats are now blocking 3 of its 12 floodgates. The storm system is now moving east. On Thursday afternoon, an EF1 tornado touched down in Columbia, Maryland. And heading into this holiday weekend, believe it or not, forecasters are also talking about a heat wave. Potential record temperatures in the high 90s, possibly into the 100s, will likely scorch the southeast from Alabama to Virginia. And as forecasters point out, those enjoying the holiday should be prepared, as heat can literally be a killer. Heather Sells, CBN News.
Well, in other news, President Trump has told the intelligence community to work with the Attorney General and his probe into the source of the Russia investigation. John Jessup has that story from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John?
That's right, Gordon. The president has directed intelligence services to, quote, quickly and fully cooperate with Attorney General William Barr's investigation into Robert Mueller's 2-year Russia probe and possible collusion with Trump's 2016 campaign. Trump also gave Barr full authority to declassify documents connected to the probe. Barr has already asked U.S. Attorney General John Durham to determine if the intelligence and surveillance methods used in the Russia investigation were legal and appropriate. Well, embattled British Prime Minister Theresa May is resigning effective June 7th, admitting defeat in her handling of Brexit, the UK's 2016 referendum to leave the European Union.
I have done everything I can to convince MPs to back that deal. Sadly, I have not been able to do so. But it is now clear to me that it is in the best interests of the country for a new Prime Minister to lead that effort.
May will stay on as caretaker prime minister until a new leader is chosen. The simmering standoff between the United States and Iran got even more tense this week as the Pentagon announced plans to send up to 10,000 troops to the Middle East. And human rights experts, religious advocates, and politicians met in Washington this week to discuss Iran's escalating war against Christians and other religious minorities. Victims of Christian persecution in Iran shared firsthand accounts of life under the Islamic regime. Among those invited were Ambassador Sam Brownback, Senator Ted Cruz, and Dr. Mike Ansari, head of one of the largest satellite channels broadcasting Christian programming into Iran. Well, a new bill pending approval by the Irish government is just a few steps away from becoming law. As Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem, if the legislation is approved, it would have profound consequences for both Irish and Israeli citizens.
The proposed law would make it illegal for Irish citizens to buy goods and services from Israeli citizens in what they define as the occupied territories. That would make it illegal to buy an ice cream, a postcard, or a bottle of water here in the old city of Jerusalem.
We bought ice cream and we bought water, and we bought it here in the old city next to Jaffa Gate. And if this bill passes, then what we just did would be illegal.
Irish citizens Karen and Norman Ivers, along with their twins, Natalie and Nathaniel, visit Israel often.
Well, it's an infringement of our freedoms.
If it becomes law, an Irish citizen convicted for violating it could be fined more than $250,000 and spend up to 5 years in jail. International law expert Professor Eugene Kontorovich calls the bill radical.
The proposed Irish law is the most extreme anti-Israel legislation proposed anywhere outside of the Arab League. If you come to the holy city and you buy some holy water, if you buy some Jewish prayer shawl or religious books, bring them back to Ireland, bang, jail.
We love Israel. We're Christian Zionists, and we support the Jewish people and the Palestinian people, and we think this bill is unfair.
One of the only reasons the law has not been passed yet is because the Irish government is properly worried about the consequences it's going to have for Irish companies doing business in America and many of the large American companies like Apple that do business in Ireland, because America has strict laws against boycotting Israel.
In the meantime, the Ivers hope their next visit to Jerusalem won't land them in jail. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Thanks, Chris. Gordon, I think a lot of people might be surprised that this hardline bill is coming out of Ireland.
Well, all of these kinds of bills to say let's boycott Israel, there's complete lack of understanding as to what it does on the ground in the West Bank. The biggest impact of this is it leads to severe unemployment for the Arabs living in the West Bank. The Jewish citizens of Israel predominantly live outside the West Bank. And so you're not going to affect Israeli industry at all. What you're going to affect is employment of Palestinians. So it just makes no sense to have these boycott bills and to say anything produced in the West Bank or anything coming out of the West Bank we're going to boycott. You're actually denying their ability to earn a living. Why would you ever want to do that? On top of it all, it's on the wrong side of history. The whole source of this conflict is the Arabs saying we do not recognize the state of Israel. We do not want a Jewish state in our midst. There's been no attempt by them over 71 years now to create a second state, to create something where they can live at peace with their Jewish neighbors. They've never done that. Their constant cry is to drive Israel to the sea. That's the motivation behind all of this. And it's time to get on the right side of history to say Israel exists. It's been there, it's going to be there, and it's time to come to peace. Terry?
Well, coming up, a woman recalls the terror of being raped when she was 25.
I'll never forget his words because he put a gun to my temple and he said, "Okay, cute talk show host, what do you do with a gun in your head?"
See how this woman went from fear to freedom and how she's helping other victims of sexual assault to do the same.
Every 2 minutes, a sexual assault happens in the United States. And these crimes often go unreported. In the era of Me Too awareness, an award-winning film aims to change the culture, especially on college campuses. Charlene Aaron sat down with a woman whose personal story is the inspiration for the film.
I'm a freshman. I've been on this campus for 2 weeks, and I was sexually assaulted 6 days ago. And No one tells you where to go from there.
1 in every 5 women and 1 in 16 men will be the victims of sexual assault during their time in college.
Between 11 and 17, I was abused by my adopted father.
I was repeatedly molested by my first grade teacher.
I was 15, he was 17. He was supposed to be my friend.
Former television personality Rosemary Tribble knows that pain well. At 25, an attacker brutally raped her at gunpoint in her Virginia hotel room. Earlier that same day, she had hosted a segment about sexual assault.
And I went down for coffee. And when I came back into the room, a huge man was there, and he began to attack me and began to at first strangle me. And I'll never forget his words, because he put a gun to my temple. And he said, "Okay, cute talk show host, what do you do with a gun in your head?" And I had never thought about that. And it was a night of absolute complete horror.
The attack left Tribble in a constant state of fear.
I'd always been a very trusting and open person, and suddenly I had this wall around me of real fear. One of my challenges in healing was that within the next 6 months, my husband began running for the United States Congress. And so it made it even harder, because I was torn inside, but putting on a happy face of the candidate's wife. And then he was elected.
As a Christian, she leaned on faith for healing, which included forgiving her attacker who was never caught.
And I said to the Lord, "Lord, I forgive the man that raped me. And I will pray the rest of my life that someone will tell him about Jesus and forgive him, and that I will spend eternity with the man who raped me."
In 2010, she wrote a book about her experience and now helps others find healing through her nonprofit organization, Fear to Freedom. Her Emmy Award-winning documentary, Be the Change, challenges schools to make campuses safe for everyone. Her work began at Christopher Newport University in Newport News, Virginia, where her husband now serves as president.
I think that it has encouraged women to come forward, and sometimes confidentially and sometimes revealing their names. There has been such a stigma in the past about talking about being wounded by sexual abuse, whether it's child abuse or sex trafficking or being violated.
Fear to Freedom Executive Director Tricia Russell says a big part of the program focuses on male students.
For the young men, you know, they're going to be the ones that make a big change in this, because they need to be the ones that tell their friend, that's not okay, don't do that, that's not good behavior.
More than 50 colleges and universities across the country have embraced this effort and hosted events, including Radford and George Mason.
When we first started Fear to Freedom, that was, I guess I wrote the book 11 years ago, and maybe 7 years old started the Fear to Freedom. Very few people were really talking about this yet.
Russell says it now extends well beyond the campus itself.
We partner in each college town with the hospital and also community partners, crisis centers, counseling centers, shelters, and even domestic violence shelters.
They encourage students to take an active role by putting together aftercare kits for assault victims. These are helpful because after an assault, a victim's clothing is kept for evidence. So each kit contains a t-shirt, sweatpants, and toiletry items.
A lot of victims were having to leave the hospital in either paper scrubs or hospital gowns. And you've already been through the most traumatic and humiliating thing in your life, and now you're going to have to walk out like that.
Also included a personal note of encouragement from a student.
And I think that's a moment that really blesses both the student, but also blesses the person that was sexually assaulted.
Since 2011, student volunteers have put together more than 20,000 aftercare kits. Russell says the impact on survivors has been overwhelming.
They're just amazed that someone packed this or did this for them. A lot cry, a lot just are just heartbroken to begin with, but this just helps them.
While Tribble recently retired as head of Fear to Freedom, her legacy and achievements are well recognized. Earlier this year, the Virginia General Assembly awarded her a commendation for helping other victims find freedom.
What was meant for evil, I truly believe was made for good, because I would have never begun this nonprofit. I would have never been able to come forward and really be someone that could be a voice for the voiceless.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Well, congratulations to Rosemary Tribble. What an incredible effort, a lifetime effort that she's poured her life into this to say, how can I turn this around? What the enemy meant for good, God can turn this around to help others. And what a great thing to do on college campuses to let's get men involved, let's get women involved, let's reach out to those who have been injured, traumatized, violated by sexual violence, and let's tell them we love them, we're here for them, we want to see them come to freedom. You can find out more about Fear to Freedom and the documentary Be the Change. All you have to do is go to cbnnews.com. Terry?
Up next, a woman who was seconds away from having an abortion.
I heard this voice say, "It's not too late, get up." I know it's the Lord, 100%. I just said, I can't do this.
Watch how this woman's choice for life gives a childless couple a son, and how that son grows up to be a champion for the unborn. In 1993, Melissa Coles was a scared 18-year-old on the doctor's table, about to have an abortion. Susan Scotton was a woman desperate to adopt a baby. Melissa's 11th hour decision to choose life for her baby set off a chain of amazing events with ongoing blessings.
I got married my high school sweetheart, and we easily got pregnant and were devastated when our first child was born with a disability, and he lived 12 days.
It wouldn't be the last time Susan Scotton would feel the sting of losing a child to a birth defect. Her second son died at 2.5 on December 22nd, 1986, just 3 days before Christmas.
I had a hard time having any faith, any hopes. I couldn't have a healthy child. I was angry. You think pregnancy, baby, you think happy, and I didn't feel that way. And then I felt guilty because I felt the way I felt.
Melissa Coles was an unmarried, poor, and pregnant 18-year-old who felt she only had 2 options.
I was scared out of my mind, and I was so conflicted. That I could keep him. It wasn't too late. And the other, do what is easiest for everyone. As I'm walking in, my heart's racing. And the doctor came in and washed his hands, put on his gloves, and he didn't speak to me. He didn't tell me what he was going to do. He didn't ask me how I was. Didn't explain anything with the procedure. I think every negative emotion that someone could feel.
At the same time, 800 miles away, another woman was holding on to the hope of adopting a newborn.
I just prayed for a healthy child, for the right thing to work out.
After the death of her second son, Susan's husband left, and she swore she'd never get pregnant again. Now remarried, she and her husband Jimmy had tried for 2 years to adopt.
There were so many letdowns and the process was difficult, but I kept saying we can do this. God's helping us and we just need to stick with it.
Back in Indiana, a doctor was mere seconds from aborting Melissa's baby.
Right as his hands went in to touch me, his glove hit my left leg. I heard this voice say, "It's not too late, get up." I know it's the Lord, 100%. I just said, I can't do this. The doctor gets up, rolls his eyes, rips his gloves off, and leaves the room and left me.
Having decided to save her baby's life, Melissa still faced uncertainty. Then later, a social worker gave her an alternative she hadn't considered: adoption.
I wanted him. And I think if he was with someone that was more like me, then he would have been raised more like how I would have raised him.
After finding an agency, Melissa received dozens of letters from potential parents. The one that grabbed her attention was from Susan and Jimmy.
And then I just fall in love with Susan. She starts, telling me her story. And she'd been through a lot of pain herself.
But it was a phone conversation that sealed the deal.
Susan, I said, how do you bait your hook down there?
When we go fishing, we use a cockahoe minnow, and you have to put the hook through the eye of the minnow. I said, and I always bait my own hook.
And I just said, congratulations, you're a mom, because I knew at that point she was gonna be the mom that was gonna take him fishing and teach him the kind of things I would teach him.
In December 1993, Melissa gave birth to a healthy baby boy. She was given the choice to hold her son before she gave him up.
I just knew that holding him could make it hard and harder to let go. But I'm glad I did. He didn't cry. He was just peaceful.
Meanwhile, in Louisiana, Jimmy got the call.
I was excited, and so much was going through my mind, I almost forgot to call Susan and tell her that the baby was born.
It was December 22nd, 1993, 7 years to the day that Susan lost her second son.
I get to the phone, and he's like, it's a boy. And I'm like, okay, is it real? Is it really real?
They named him David James after Susan's father, who had passed 9 months earlier. They held him for the first time on Christmas Eve.
I am crying, happy tears are just flowing. He's beautiful, he's just perfect, he's so joyful. And we walk out the hospital, Jimmy and I together, and it starts to snow. Now, from Louisiana, that is just like tears from heaven, just joy, just the ultimate joy. It was like, wow.
Melissa later married and started her own family. In the coming years, not a day passed that she didn't think about the son she gave up.
Deep down, I knew I did the right thing. I knew he was safe, and I knew that they were giving him everything I couldn't.
David grew up in a loving Christian home. And yes, spent lots of time fishing with his mom and dad. He always knew he was adopted, and in high school joined a pro-life group. At 18, he reached out to Melissa, and the two agreed to meet. By then, a documentary team had picked up their story and was there to film their reunion.
My heart was racing so fast, and I couldn't get out the door fast enough. So I wanted to get there and hug him no matter what. I just wanted to feel that hug and feel that connection, and it was a beautiful moment.
There was something he wanted Melissa to know.
She made a brave decision and a courageous decision that wasn't easy. That was the whole reason that we were coming there, was to thank her and reaffirm her that her decision was the right decision.
I felt a lot more freed in my spirit hearing that.
Since then, David has finished law school, and he and Melissa have joined in a common goal. Through speaking engagements and the documentary I Lived on Parker Avenue, they work to inform women about adoption and encourage them to choose life.
And knowing that for every 100 abortions, there's only 2 adoptions facilitated in this country, we really had a unique opportunity to share the adoption option. And I think that was God's calling for us. God played a role in all of this. The chain of events is just too amazing for me not to think that.
Happy at the same time. God has had his hand in this from the get-go, and he carried me through. He molded everything.
And that's his promise. You know, sometimes I think we find ourselves in very difficult circumstances, and we think we only have one choice, maybe two, very painful and means letting go. But God, when we invite him to step into the midst of our circumstances, his promise is this, that what the enemy meant for evil, God will work for good. But we have to be willing to trust him and to let go and to make the wise choice. Today, maybe you are facing an unexpected pregnancy and you're feeling so alone. I can only imagine what that must be like, feeling like you're going to disappoint so many people. You're changing your opportunities and your future. But I just want to say to you that there is such hope. Look what God did. Does it mean that there's not any pain involved? Absolutely not. But you know, every day, Melissa said she thought of that son. But every day she thought of the son that she gave life to, the son who was becoming someone, who was going to do something that mattered. When you choose to abort, don't think you don't think of that child every day too. But with grief, making the right choice is such a hard thing. Sometimes, though, what we think is easiest winds up not being easiest for the long haul. I want to say to you today, choose life. Trust God. He is the creator, the giver of life, and he will not just give life and hope and a future to your baby, but he'll do it for you as well. Some of you may have made what seemed like the easy choice, and maybe your heart is burdened, wondering who your child might have been, and maybe you didn't even know the Lord then, and you've come to know Christ since then. You know, God is so grace-filled. He loves us so much. It's why he gives us the gift of confession and forgiveness. Don't be afraid to go to him. He's not judging you. Jesus said, I came that we might have freedom, that we might have life, have it abundantly. Living under the guilt of choices that we've made in the past doesn't allow for that, but coming to the one who died for us all gives the kind of freedom, the kind of hope, the kind of new beginning that every one of us needs and longs for. On top of that, he gives us the deep relationship with him that changes who we are, changes the way that we live. No matter what you're facing today, come to Christ. It's the reason he came. It's what his death was all about. His death was so that we could live, making wise choices about the gift of life and many other things that we face. Will you pray with me right now and make that decision? Just stop what you're doing and bow your head and let's pray together. Jesus, I need you. I need you right now in the midst of my today. In the midst of my choices, my hurt, my pain, my fear. Oh God, take my life. Make it count for you. Jesus, I give you everything that I am and all that I have. Help me to walk through this with you. Help me to walk through this to forgiveness on the other end, to wholeness, to life, to goodness, to a future with you. Forgive my sins. You know them all, God. I'm asking you to forgive each one, and I receive your forgiveness. Now change the way that I think, change the way that I behave, change the way that I see the world. I want to see it through your eyes. I want to hear your voice when you speak to me. I want ears to hear what you're saying as you lead me. Fill me with your Holy Spirit, with strength, with courage, with power to face each day, knowing that you are in charge of it all and that you are a good, good God who is trustworthy. Thank you for loving me, Lord. Thank you for forgiving me. Thank you for giving me a new beginning. I receive it all today. In Jesus' name, amen. Listen, if you've prayed, you've begun a great new journey with the Lord, and this is just the beginning. We have wonderful materials for you. If you're someone who finds yourself pregnant and you're not sure where you're going with all of that, we'd like to send you this. It's a pamphlet called You're Not Alone. Even though it feels like you are, you're not. This is free, and we'd love to send it to you. The phone call to get it is free as well, 1-800-700-7000. If you prayed that prayer, ask for the New Day packet because it's free, and we'll send it along with this when you call 1-800-700-7000. Gordon?
Still ahead, a single mom gets a serious setback.
My right leg got infected. I was septic. I was very sick. I'm like, oh goodness, I'm going to be off from work. Bills still have to be paid.
See where this woman turned for help. That's coming up.
Welcome back to Washington for this CBN News Break. CBN's Operation Blessing and the Home Depot have teamed up with one goal: to assemble 3,000 disaster relief kits, which they did in just an hour and 15 minutes at OB's warehouse in Ocala, Florida. More than 100 associates from 10 different stores in north central Florida joined in. The teams assembled 1,500 buckets and filled them with items for hurricane and flood relief, cleaning supplies, trash bags, and gloves. And on top was a message of hope and love to remind devastated families there are people who care. Buckets like these can be distributed to suffering families as they recover from a natural disaster in the United States. Well, Operation Blessing is looking for full-time, over-the-road Class A CDL truck drivers with at least 100,000 miles of driving experience who live anywhere east of the Mississippi River. OB offers a competitive pay package with excellent benefits. If you're interested, you can view job descriptions and apply online at www.ob.org/careers. Gordon and Terry will be back with more today's 700 Club right after this.
Tina Keith runs a busy daycare, and she's also a single mom with a son of her own. Not long ago, after 5 surgeries, Tina was down for the count and couldn't work. She desperately needed a hand up, and that's exactly what she got from CBN's Operation Blessing.
The shady area this way.
Tina Keith has been running an in-home daycare for 28 years.
I love children. Kids are a joy. And God said to take care of his children, so I'm taking care of his children.
11 years ago, she felt God prompting her to become a foster mom.
Josiah was 3 months old. His grandmother had custody of the children. Then grandma gets sick.
Tina got permanent custody, and she's been Josiah's mom ever since.
He's been a joy in my life. In times when I was sad, he made me happy. He's very loving. He's very, very smart.
Several years after becoming Josiah's mom, Tina found herself struggling to provide for him when her leg required 5 surgeries.
My right leg got infected. I was septic. I was very sick. I'm like, oh goodness, I'm gonna be off from work. Bills still have to be paid, whether you're working or not. I'm the sole provider of my family, and I have to take care of Josiah, the home, everything. I have it all to do. It was hard.
Tina wasn't able to work for over a year and had to temporarily close her daycare. Desperate for help, she asked God what to do. He led her to Operation Blessing partner 5 Loaves and 2 Fishes.
It was just amazing how much was there, from household supplies, clothing, foods, everything. I was able to take money and do something else with it that really needed to be done, like paying the garbage bill. It's like a miracle. Like with my daycare kids, they bring a child here and that child may not have what it needs. I can always pick the phone up and say, Miss Linda, I need such and such to help my mommy with her baby. And she says, come on and get it. And that right there is a wonderful thing.
Not long after she began receiving food, Tina decided it was time to volunteer.
I went back several more times, and then I said, you know what? I want to give back. I want to be a part of that. It is a joy. It's a blessing all the way around.
Tina says she doesn't know what she would have done without the help she received from Operation Blessing partners.
I want to thank everybody. That food bank down there is one of the best things that ever happened to this county.
Be a part of it. Be a part of everything we're doing. We're providing food for people right here in America. Our stats show it's as much as 3 million Americans a month are receiving food from an Operation Blessing truck. When we supply these food banks, we supply churches, we supply ministries so they can get the food to the people in need. You're part of that when you join the 700 Club. A portion of every gift goes into the work of Operation Blessing. Another portion goes into the work of CBN International to preach the gospel around the world. You're a part of all of it when you join with us. So if that's you want to be a part, call us right now, 1-800-700-7000. And if you're already a member of the 700 Club, here's something I want you to consider, and that's Join Pledge Express. It's electronic monthly giving. The bank is doing all the work. There's no checks to write anymore, and we send as our gift to you Power for Life, monthly teaching CDs. So if you'd like those, ask for Pledge Express when you call, or just go to cbn.com, and on the giving page, you can have a place where you can designate your gift to Operation Blessing. You can designate it to Orphan's Promise. And you can also sign up for monthly giving and be a part of Pledge Express. So if you'd like to do all of that, go to cbn.com or just call us. Do it now, 1-800-700-7000. Terry.
Up next, a hotshot fighter pilot gives a deadly order during training.
I gave him some instructions on the radio, unbeknownst to me, that was basically directed a maneuver which was suicidal. He ends up crashing into the ocean, perishing instantaneously.
Watch how this man overcomes shame and guilt when we come back.
Tom Cruise in Top Gun had nothing over fighter pilot Brad King. For years, Brad's ego and arrogance were flying high. Then one day, with one deadly mistake, Brad's life took a sudden nosedive.
Everything that I did was basically driven to be the best so I could be chosen as the best and to get the best.
Brad King has never done anything halfway. In college, he graduated at the top of his class with 2 aeronautical degrees and reached his life's goal, becoming an F-15 fighter pilot in the U.S. Air Force. His success was his, and his alone.
I taught myself that, hey, all you have to do is work very, very hard, outwork anybody, and you can be successful.
As a pilot, he took self-confidence to another level.
If I could be the loudest, drunkest, wildest, skirt chasing, hair on fire fighter pilot, I wanted to be the guy that everybody looked up to.
Brad married and was promoted to chief flight and weapons instructor. Lauded for his flying skills, he exuded confidence and arrogance until a routine training mission with another pilot went wrong.
He ends up crashing into the ocean, perishing instantaneously. I gave him some instructions on the radio, unbeknownst to me, that was basically directed a maneuver which was suicidal. You don't have the room to do what I told him to do. And it was just unbelievable to me that I had made these mistakes because they're so fundamentally basic. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to think. I was like, how could this possibly happen? Very difficult for me to get my mind around, very difficult.
Brad's shock and disbelief quickly turned to shame and guilt. An investigation followed, and Brad was grounded indefinitely.
At that point, what's the point of going on? Because you've lost everything. There were many nights that I sat in my room and cried my eyes out. And there was more than one occasion that I thought about maybe not waking up the next day.
There was one flash of hope during this time. After 6 years of trying and 8 miscarriages, Brad and his wife, Carolyn, had a daughter.
I can remember holding her going, this is a gift from the Almighty, because there's no way this should have worked. Most stressful point of our lives ever. I'm being destroyed. My wife is going through things. And lo and behold, we have this beautiful child. I can just remember thinking that I'm going to try to make this the best I can.
Through years of court battle, Brad got his record cleared and flight clearance reinstated. He left the Air Force and got a job flying for FedEx. His confidence and ego were back.
I still wanted to kind of hang on to that, where I was successful and where I had some, bones, if you will. So I hang on to that life.
That lifestyle would lead to an affair with his best friend's wife. Eventually, Carolyn found out. Brad ended the affair, but it was too late.
I knew he had lied to me. That's the one thing I said when we got married, just don't ever lie. When the trust is broken, there's no hope for us. I told him I didn't know what I was going to do, but, I was just done. And I think he knew by my voice I was really done.
As Brad stood alone in an empty house, he says he had an encounter with God.
It's just this awakening, and you start becoming aware of who you are, what you've done, and how you measure up. I just collapsed to the floor because the weight of all the sin and the weight of the guilt and that knowledge was just so overwhelming. I was never going to measure up. The Lord moved me to a place where he was completely absent. That was terrifying. It was a very clear thought. I have never forgotten it. This is what judgment is like. Finally, I said, please help me. I didn't see anything, but I can remember feeling the presence. Something inside of me said, be calm. At that point, I just said, thank you. And I gave my heart and said, would you please, Lord, be my Lord and Savior.
Brad called Carolyn and begged her to give him another chance. Although doubtful, she agreed and came home. She says the change in him was undeniable.
It was like a lightning bolt that hit him. I mean, it was a change overnight, and it was obvious to me that something was very different about this man. Before, he was very self-centered. If I would have left, it was, I get nothing, it's all his. And this time, he said, you can have everything. I have just been a rotten person. I just hope in time that you will think better of me. And I'm going to prove to you that I'm a different person, that I have changed. I kept waiting for the rug to be pulled out from underneath my feet, and it never did. He just kept surprising me, and he was an absolutely changed person.
Over time, the trust was restored. In fact, Carolyn also dedicated her life to Christ. These days, Brad and Carolyn's marriage is stronger than ever. Brad lives a life of contentment and surrender to God.
I come to him as my father. As a child, I try to remember that I can always come to him. You can't hide from God. He's right there all the time, just waiting for you to reach out because he's looking for you. His love will always find you, no matter where you are. There's nothing you've done, nothing you can do that will separate you from the love of God.
He's looking for you. That's what Brad said. He's looking for you. In his darkest moment, he found a God who was looking for him. Now, maybe you're like Brad. You've lived life where you were a hard charger, hard worker. You poured everything into it. And then, for whatever reason, you made a mistake. And then the consequences started. For Brad, it was a couple of mistakes. First one in a fighter jet caused someone to die. And the second one in his marriage. And it caused a break in trust, a break in any kind of hope, any kind of future. It all went away, all because of what Brad had done. And where do you go with that? What do you do with that? Well, I've got good news for you, and it's great news. There is one who is able to take all of that, take all of our mistakes, and say, I love you, I forgive you, I restore you. Now, what does it take to get that? Well, it takes turning. That's number one. You can't continue in the mistake. And then number two, it takes believing that this is for you. For Brad, that belief came after a voice told him to be calm. For you, what's it going to take for you to believe it? That Jesus came for you, that he died for you, that he is your Messiah, that he lived the perfect life. Why did he do that? So that you and I would be saved. that all our imperfections, all our mistakes, all our sins would be taken care of. And we could finally come home. We could finally find a place with him, that peace, that calm that only comes from him. If you've tried to live life on your terms, it's real simple. Surrender and say, God, not my will. Will you be my Lord and Savior? Not my way, your way. And in that surrender, you can come to the same calm, the same peace that Brad found. Now, his wife, you heard her testimony. He was a changed man. What had happened to him was he had an encounter with a real living God. You can have that. All you have to do is ask for it. The prayer is very simple. Lord, I turn away from all the things that I've done. If you can save me, if you can be my Messiah, could you show me? Could you show up for me? And if you pray that with all of your heart, that's what the Bible says, when you seek me with all of your heart, then you'll find me. If you want help with that prayer, we're here for you. We're just a phone call away. All you got to do is pick up the phone. Say, I need to find Jesus. I need to find him right now. Call us, 1-800-700-7000. Here's a word from Psalms, it's 103. As far as the east is from the west, so far he has removed our transgressions from us. For all of us here, God bless you. We'll see you again.